Good afternoon and a huge warm welcome to Carnation Crafts. We're live in the Carnation Craft studio. It's very wonderful to have your company on a very hot day. We have got vintage dreams for you. This is going right back to the beginning of Carnation. This is we talked about it in the last show earlier today, that incredible kind of classic crafting, really traditional, very beautiful and very elegant, very timeless pieces. It's massive. It's a huge collection, is Vintage Dreams. It should be a combined price if you were to buy every single die together, $181.99. The normal price Carnation have this for is $129.99, and they're giving it to you today for $69.99 with a free UK P&P. Remember as well, you can use your 10% discount, and that's going to take it down. I think, did we say $62.99 as well? And what's that? Sorry, Taz?
That's the saving.
That's your saving, so you're saving 60 quid. As well as that, because you're spending over the £25, they will be sending you a free $4.99 die as well. That's going to come to you in the post, and remember, it's Carnation, so if you purchase this today, the likelihood is you might get it tomorrow. If not, it will be with you on Monday, which is happy crafting. We like them apples because it means that we get to do what we want to do as soon as we can, and Carnation just are on it when it comes to postage. We're going to have a look through the boards, and then we're going to do some demos for you after we've seen some finished samples. So the show format will run that way. So there should be 3 demos. There may only be time for 2, but definitely 2 and maybe 3. We start off with your beautiful Vintage Dreams stepper card. So right from the beginning, you start to see those hints coming through of filigree, those really strong tones coming through, and the engineered dies already, where you've got that beautiful stepper card coming in, where it simply is just a case of bending and folding as it goes in. Excuse me. So you've got your stepper sitting there just like so. Now obviously with any stepper you can combine them, can't you? So you can make that into a double stepper, which is always wonderful to have. Loads of layers here for you to either do apertures or for you to build your layers on top. So really pretty. And then this gorgeous shape out in the middle that you can cut out, you can keep in, you can build on top of. So many options for it. It's really delightful. If you use that as an aperture and pop some acetate behind it and then use the filigree on it, it really is impactful as well. That card shape is extraordinarily pretty, and I know you're all going to make really good use of that. You get the sentiment, the thank you sentiment there, and a little label down here as well. You can use for a sentiment, for stamping. You can do various other things with them as well. Really sweet. So that's your stepper card. Then we have got your vintage blooms. So pretty. Look at these. Really gorgeous. We're going to give you all of the colorways for them, so you've got all your elements coming through, all of your foliage to build. You'll see this as we go through the DT card samples, and also through demo as we go through those leaves, just building everything up each time. Right back to the beginning, decoupage elements, look, all going through, but can be used independently. It's so important. It's something Carnation do so well. I don't want to be dictated to. We've said this so many times. It's so nice to be able to build decoupage or use them as different embellishments. It's a really nice touch. From that, we have got your beautiful Victorian ladies here. Hey up. Let's put a red back. So we've got different colorways here as well. You've got the blue and the gorgeous purple. So depending which way you want to work with these, you've got your matte layer, which is a split die. She can be an over the edge card, or she can be exactly as she is. Then you've got the decoupage elements to build up the face and to build up the arm, so you create dimension and you get that impact of perspective as well. So you've got the 2 different ladies. So this one obviously is Lady Rose, and then I think this one is Lady Lily. Let's just make sure I've got that right. Correct, Lady Lily. Now she's seated, and we do have a staircase that she will be seated upon, and a little cat that you can use as well. So you're creating a storyline, that kind of idea of that Victorian garden kind of going round. These are wonderful for Mother's Day cards, aren't they? Really pretty for those kind of events that come along. Very sweet crafting. It's really pretty stuff. You've got your stunning, I love these. They're so important, these pieces. You've got the extra element at the bottom. Now that can be cut away and used individually, of course, but this is so pretty how it is either a swag or a tail, depending which way you want to do it. I just want to make sure I've got the 2 right. That's your Rose Garden die set, and we'll come on to the other one in a second. Again, 2 different colorways, but aren't they beautiful? It's about changing the way we craft, having this way. So it kind of blooms, it festoons around the cards that you're making. Maybe putting two together if you're doing like an 8x8 card, so you get that expanse, that gorgeous, gorgeous piece, and overlapping the side elements. Super pretty. All your mats and layers as well, just so you know. So everything coming together. Lots of decoupage elements there for you as well. Look at this. Isn't this pretty with the blossom? So you can build it. It's up to you. You can build it up. You can keep it sort of as it is. Really pretty points. I love the little, the whiter blossoms that you've got here. Now we're going to have a tree. Let me just sort this. It's all bent out of shape. Unfortunately, the heat, I'm going to leave it in case I tear it. The heat is obviously making everything stick in funny ways. I do apologise. One of the items that will come to in Vintage Dreams is the hummingbird tree. And the hummingbird tree comes as such naked. You can then build it. So we've got fruits and we've got blossoms to put on that tree. And you'll see it in a minute in the board. But these little florals, these kind of magnolias that you see sitting here would be beautiful on that tree as well, because they'll embellish it in so many ways. So again, although they're individual elements and you can buy them separately, of course, when you've got the bundle, what you actually do is, as we said in the earlier shows, you cross-pollinate, don't you? So we start to utilize them as a bundle, and it's the bundle that's always going to give you the most versatility, because we can swap and change in bundles. So you get to play in different elements, which is really, really sweet. From there, we move on to your secret staircase. I love this. I have to say, great for Halloween cards as well, isn't it? It's got that kind of spooky element to it, that gothic element to it, but also the very pretty Victoriana. It depends how you dress it up and how you dress it down, and I love that. Now we have got the little cat, and the little cat looks super cute sitting down here. You can see that the darker colorway that we've got here is great for the more gothic style. This is great for the more classic style, so it depends which way you want to go. Use your tiny lights behind the windows here, you know, so you're bringing in those elements where you've got everything coming together. You've got that lighting up, that glowing. Loads of you have bought tiny lights recently from Carnation, because Christmas is upon us apparently, and so you are able to use those and utilize them in different ways. But how great would it be to have these cutouts and then to have those tiny lights? It gives it that mystery, doesn't it? And if you have this on the side of Getting Together, the Halloween edition, the spooky edition of Getting Together, and you have that at the side, just incredible crafting. So we see that right from the very beginning collections that we had, right to the, you know, recent ones where we talk about Getting Together, those two are still going to combine, because that's the power of having the artwork done in-house, because we're not trying to kind of make it happen. We're not trying to make it work. It works naturally because it's by the same artist and by the same team. Whereas if they were stock images, you're trying to fit it. You're trying to make pieces. It's a round peg in a square hole, so we don't need to do that. Then you've got your beautiful staircase here, your little steps, and they're so sweet. These are your garden steps. You've got the two little colorways for the cats, and then you get the extra one over here. So you've got the 3 cats as you go through. They're going to sit with those Victorian ladies in the most pretty way. You get those beautiful steps. You've got mats and layers for those, so that can be a card on its own. If you've got a cat lover in your house, and believe me, we've got plenty of them in this room, if you've got this sitting here, you can make a card just to this. Pop a little cat on the stairs and a little sentiment. Really sweet, very, very lovely. Ace for very quick cards. Sometimes we just need them, don't we, those quick cards, and you've got them automatically here, which is really nice. I was talking to you a moment ago about the hummingbird tree. This has always been ever popular with Carnation. Unsurprised. Look at all those cut lines. Beautiful, right? Split die, meaning you can have it over the edge of your card. Really pretty. And they're symbolic. Trees are symbolic for families. You know the idea of the family tree as well. So you could cut out little names and have them along the branches. You could do all different things with this hummingbird tree. Really beautiful. You could have it in a shadow box. So if you have a frame and you put the tree onto a piece of acetate, and you have the acetate next to the glass of the frame, and you've got the box behind it, you'll get the shadow cast from it, which will be absolutely lovely, and it will look like it's magically floating in the frame, because you can't see the acetate behind the glass, and they look incredible. So you could do some beautiful family trees that way with this. You've also got the addition of the fruits, so we can add these in, so you can pop on any fruits that you want. You can pop on the little, you can see the little blossoms here as well, and they're separate elements that you get. So you can build the tree the way that you want it to be, and then we get the beautiful hummingbirds as well, so they're really pretty. again, can be used separately, so you don't have to use them with the tree, but of course they're gorgeous with it. And it's all about versatility. Every time we produce some dies, I say we, using the royal we, every time we produce dies, we produce them with versatility in you know, context. That's what we're looking for. And this, the engineering, the final die of the set, which is so pretty. You see the wee tabs here? They've got, if I show you on here, you'll see it better. These cut lines, the little snips, because each one of those is a score line. Now what that means is I can cut that away altogether and just use one of these, so it's got the obvious look of one of these, or I can fold it round, glue the tabs together, and I have a 3D lantern, which is so pretty, so gorgeous. And then you've also got these elements here which can be used either to hang it, so to speak, or I can use them as embellishments for the cards to create borders, corners, and all of those kind of things, because you've got the edge, or that visual context just gives it a little bit extra. And it's just so pretty, really, really stunning. You've got the two colorways, so again, do you want to go the dramatic, do you want to strip it back and have that a bit more clean and simple? Either way, it's going to work, isn't it? Really, really pretty. And again, mix it in with Bohemian Beauty. Already we're starting to mix it with newer collections, because everything goes with everything. There's no such thing as a ton of different collections with Carnation. There's one collection that we just simply build additions to. And I think that's really, really important, because we can just craft and craft and craft. So it's a playground, isn't it? It's a whole plethora of things for us to do. Are you okay, Taz? Can I pop you those? Thank you. So that is Vintage Dreams. It's stunning. And I can't believe they're doing it for this price, because it's massive. Individually purchased, you'd be paying £181.99. That's nuts. When you think you're getting it today for £69.99. The usual price is £129.99 on the website. It's a 60 quid off for a start. 10% discount if you use your newsletter code. That's going to take it down to £62.99. You're going to get a free gift that's worth £4.99 of another die. You're going to get free UK P&P. We'll give you all of that. And on top of that, we'll give you absolutely free artwork for your collection as well. So that's pretty much, that is a bargain, yes. You are literally getting so much for your money here. Just the card shape, to be fair, is pretty much on its own worth that. But the fact that you're getting everything else with it, the florals, it is such a good deal. And I'm really chuffed to bring you it. I love bringing back the older collections. It's really nice to see them again, because we get used to sort of seeing a new one and anticipating it and loving it. Of course we do. It's just nice sometimes to take a trip down memory lane and see things that you may not have seen before if you're new to us at Carnation, and to get the chance to sort of view it and see it in different ways. And like I say, this is a very traditional kind of card making. So for those of you who love that style, this is absolutely for you a bargain today. So grab it in your baskets. I will give a quick mention, Carnation always do a pack of perfect papers with every collection they do, and Vintage Dreams is no exception to that rule. It's stunningly done. You're always going to have that 300 GSM, that really good quality cardstock. It's glossy on the coating of it. It's white on the back, it's coloured on the front. You're going to get 6 different colourways for it, and you're going to get 8 of each of those 6. So you're getting 48 sheets in total. It's a huge pack of cardstock. You can see it here, massive, and it'll go through for every piece that you're making, because Nick, who is our the guy who does all our designing, let's put it that way, because my brain is not doing the things, he colour picks these. So every vignette that's drawn, every piece of artwork that's drawn for Carnation, these are then colour picked by the creative director, there you go, this is my head, and made to design. So you can't clash. And it's a problem when we clash with card making, because simple things with colour that go wrong actually affect the whole build of a card. So when we don't have to stress with those things, makes it easier, right? So that is your perfect papers. You'll find those on the Carnation Crafts website as well, 200291. That's www.carnationcrafts.co.uk. As always, £14.99. £2.95 UK P&P if you're just buying the papers. If you are buying it with the bundle, of course, you will get free P&P. So that's there. And you can use the QR code at the bottom of your screen. If you just want to scan it with your camera, that'll take you straight to the product. That's the same for Vintage Dreams as well. That QR code will be there. It just makes it easier for you guys just to go straight where you want to go without having to mess about typing in the website. It's already there for you. Vintage Dreams, you'll find 200280. That's if you prefer to do it the old-fashioned way. Excuse me, I just need to cough. I do apologise. Right, let's have a look at some finished samples from the wonderful DT at Carnation and see what you're going to be working with. I won't be able to show you all of them because there are lots and lots of different ones. I'm just making sure they're not getting muddled with some of the others. So let's have a look at that beautiful hummingbird tree here. Beautiful, right? You see that 3D bird cage? It's so important to have engineered dies. That just pops out. This is a really simple card design. So you're talking about having the same card stock, putting it together the same size and just using an oval die on one, so that when you fold it, you have your mountain and your valley fold, which allows you to have that inside piece. And it's glorious the way it's done. And with that bird, you know, sitting there and just hanging, it's so pretty. Lady Lily and Lady Rose sitting on a summer's day watching the world go by. You've got the little cat at the bottom, the beautiful embellishments of those magnolias with the hummingbirds, just very pretty. Filigree in the background. You can see how you compare this right back to that clean and simple, using those simple creams and blues that give it a kind of china cup feel to it, don't they? If you want to use that stepper card in a different way, so we're using the same card here, the same card base. Use it as an easel. That's from the wonderful Janine. So you can see the different elements coming together. It's only a case of snipping off the extra stepper and then using it as an easel. Lots of different ways to play. And this is why we talk about versatility so much, because it's so important to have different ways of crafting. Beautiful oval there. Beautiful crafting. Isn't it pretty in the blue, the tree? And blue and yellow are always gorgeous together, aren't they? If you like some more of those colour tones, Pam Simpson's here, using some of those softer creams, the apricot kind of colour, bringing in with the two ladies. Very iconic pieces, aren't they? That classic, like I say, Victoriana. Can have a naughty little pushkin sitting on a step. Oof, this one's lost its ear. Got a naughty little pushkin. You see how these are simple cards as well. So this is using that same stepper card, just taken back, paired back, and now you've got the beautiful leaves coming down, that forming that swag. If you think of a face that's got a fringe on it that sort of frames the face out, that's what we're doing. We're creating that framing. And so having that at the top of your card allows the eye to draw down to what we're looking at. He's our central focus vividly, and so everything around him is built in with this kind of softness because of that festoon at the top. Simple and effective, I've got to say, but really beautiful. Now, if you want to create something that is just, look at the dimension on this, hang on. Decoupage at its finest, right? Those blues and those yellows, that really rich depth of colour, very pretty. Or alternatively, you can come in here with your twisted easel. And again, build your dimension. You can see it here. Aren't they beautiful? Because it's about how you craft, isn't it? So you don't have to always use the main pieces. So, you know, the Lady Lily and Lady Rose, which we love, and they're our iconic pieces, just because they're the main sort of show focus on the collection, doesn't mean they're the things that you'll always use. You might make cards just with a hummingbird. You might make cards just with one cat. Every time you play with Carnation, you choose the elements that suit the card that you're making, don't you? So you get that kind of that narrative that you can play with in your head. I'm telling a story. What's the story? Am I saying get well? Am I saying happy birthday? And then you work with those pieces going through. Look at this, simple. Thank you. It says it all, right? It's exactly what it should be. The focus on here being the thank you that comes from the stepper card, and then those beautiful, gorgeous florals, those blooms, those vintage blooms. Because so much can be said sometimes with so little. It doesn't always have to be the excess. If you want to double up that stepper, where we've got a sample here, I was saying that you can double them. We have that here. Versatility, versatility. It's what we're always striving for. And it's, as crafters, we look for it. We're not daft. We know that we want more for our money. You know, it's important that we can craft with a greater experience and enjoy that. Look at this. Because isn't that beautiful? This collection's extraordinary. And the price is even more extraordinary. Thank you very much. $69.99. Get that code in there. Use your discount. Get that down to $62.99. It is a beautiful collection. And you're getting, this is where we talk about getting your bang for your buck, right? This is the time, because you are getting such value today. And that's with the USB show that we did earlier today. And then also with this collection. It's been, you know, such a great week for Carnation as far as the USBs are concerned, as far as giving us all of that kind of wonderfulness. Thank you very much, Carnation. And they haven't stopped yet this week, which is always nice. Right, let's have a look at demo time. It's been a long time since I've done this, Miss Towers. Long time. I don't know if I can remember. It's been a long time since it sounded like I've been eating a packet of crisps on air. Right, let's have a look at the stepper. Right, so the stepper shape, once you cut it with your die, this is exactly what it's going to look like, plain and simple. You're going to need to cut it twice because we obviously need to make a card base of it. Carnation have given us an indent both here and here in order to create that stepper and be able to fold it in. But we also have two tabs up along the top, and that's going to be how we piece the card together. Now my second one is exactly the same, but I've put red liner on the top tabs, and I can choose now what to do, and you will have to choose for yourself. It depends what you like. If I want to, I can take this one and I can pull that tab and this tab towards me, and I can push that one and that one down. I can piece those together, and that's going to be my card base. Thank you very much. What that will do essentially is give me some bulk on the top, which you can just see as I pull it there. Now that will automatically make the card stand a little bit ajar, won't it? Because you add in that bulk at the top part of the card. So if you want to, you can cut away on one of them, and Carnation have given us the snip marks in order for us to do that. In order that you've seen it both ways, I'm going to snip this off. I don't normally, I quite like the bulk, but I think if you want to see it both ways, this gives you the greatest scope. So let's just take this away. And here and here, just to ensure. So those snip marks are there, those little pit marks, I can just run through them. Now I've got this sitting here. I always find it easier to do this back to back. It's just because otherwise you're sort of trying, because you've got the two elements, so it's easier to do it, I think, this way. So just grab your pokey, take away your red liner tape. Always using red liner tape for me when I do my card bases. It's the strongest adhesion there is out there. It means that I know it's going to seat together. So I'm just going to get hold. You have to bear with me a little bit with this. It's very, very warm in the studio. So consequently, we're getting that heat. Now what I'm going to do is just make sure that these are pulled a little bit back so that I can commit when I'm ready. Now, you may find it, because obviously I'm going blind here, so I'm just warning you that if you're at home, you may find it easier to line the bottoms up. You can do it the way that I'm doing it here, and this is how I do it. I'll show you the other way though as well. So this is that bit done, and I would just lay those down. However, those of you who may need a little bit more guidance in where it's going, you can pull these down, keep them sort of separate as you shuffle. This would be the traditional way. You'll see that they're sitting that way now. So I haven't committed to anything because they were just held. I can then push that down. I know everything is together and correct. Put that in and pop. That's going to give me a absolute finished edge on my card base. So that might be easier for you if you're just starting. Let's build some mats and layers here. And we're going to add in some filigree. So I've got my pieces just, oh, I committed too fast then, Miss Taz. Is that gonna, I don't want to rip it. Don't want to rip it, Miss Taz. Let's just see. Oof. There we go. Right, let's commit at the top, not the bottom. There we go. Make sure you've got it seated. You're better off actually with a tab formation than I just did. Now I want to talk to you about this because this is so wonderfully pretty. Look at this. Held on with 2 pip marks. Now I've got choices, haven't I? I can fold that in half and create a little card that stands. Can you see? Now if I was to use that as a card base for myself, I would want to cut the filigree element twice so that it's stronger, but it will stand as its own little card, which I think is super cute, really sweet. I can take this away completely and, you know, get rid of it. I don't have to keep those tabs. I've got the little cut marks, so I can use it as an aperture, or I can start to build layers on it, or I can use it exactly as it is. So can you see how versatile that is? How much we're getting just from one element of a full card shape. Like there's loads going on here. It's really stunning. Let's go in with some wet glue, and I'm going to use an applicator in here, and I'm going to try and use smaller amounts. So taking this in, I do want to make sure this is seated. So I'm going to go one here and one here, one here, one here. I'm going to have to work fast so that it doesn't dry as it goes down because it's just a little warm on those elements. Are you all having a lovely warm day? I hope you're all managing to stay cool, or if you would rather stay hot. I know some people are sun worshippers. Are you a sun worshipper, Miss Towers? Is that what you're saying?
No, I was going to answer a question for someone.
Okay.
Carol's just said she's been through her newsletter and can't find the 10% off code for USBs. It's not solely for the USBs, it's your monthly newsletter discount code that you can apply to your USBs.
You can apply to every basket that you've got pretty much, so long as it's not from the last 3 months, Carol. So if you want to look at a collection that's just come out, you can't use the 10% discount on there. But if it was 3 months before, you can use it on anything. You want to put in things like ProPrint and stuff like that, that's going to give you 10% on that as well. It's for the whole website other than the brand new stuff. So it works for everything. So it'll be on there for you. And the code is definitely there. Let me just add a little bit to this just to make sure I've got that adhesion. Look how beautiful that is. It's such a pretty filigree, isn't it? I've got a little bit of white there that I just want to get rid of. Look at that. China plates. Just going to make sure that sticks. Like I say, it's so hot in the studio today. All of my glue is going to do its own thing, Taz. Let's take this away. Make sure I seat that a little bit more carefully this time so that it's sat. And add in another filigree element to this. Right, let me just... That's going to make my life easier. All right. Now, tiny amounts, but enough. I'm putting a little bit more on today. Not as much as I did in the last show, but just to compensate for that heat. But I'm going to smush it out a bit. I don't want globs. Place that in the center point. Okay, really, really pretty. I love that filigree against the purple. It's already incredibly dramatic, isn't it? There's something about that, you know, it doesn't really matter at this point what you put on it because it's going to look incredible. I just want to talk to you about the stepper. So if I push that back and push that in, so we've got Mountain Valley, same again on the back, that is just going to seat. I can burnish it if I want. to push it further back, but that's going to create my stepper. So easy, isn't it? That's like, it's just so clever and so wonderful to use. Now I'm going to come in with a swag, and I just want to talk to you about these a little bit because I think they're so pretty. Now I can have this seated on the bottom, and that's going to frame up whatever I put on the center, and I've got my lady here, so it depends where I want to place her. Okay, so she's going to look how beautiful she is against that. Extraordinary, right? So I've got her, and I can place her there, and I can use her in that, you know, in that place. I can change it because we've got mirrored vignettes, and I can have her at this side. But I just wanted to talk to you then about changing that element and having it as a swag, because it's also truly beautiful as that. So then I can place her here, and you can see it changes the card, doesn't it? At one point she's walking amongst the florals, the next she is shading below them. The story changed just by moving the element from the top to the bottom, or vice versa. So again, always think about your play, where you're going to go with it, and what your intentions are for it. I'm going to keep it at the top, and I'm going to crown it with this extra element at the top, just as a framing device, as if it's a trellis that's coming down that she is shading underneath, because I think it's super pretty, and that's the way that I want to go with it. I just think it's beautiful to work with. So we're going to take this piece. That's way too much. Little amounts. Now you can free flow these, so if you only want to put some adhesive on the top half so that the bottom has got movement, which adds a different kind of drama to the cards you're making, that's absolutely fine to do it as well. But of course, if you're posting it, you do want to make sure your edges are as stuck as possible, because that's going to be important to keep it safe in transport. There we go. And then coming in with my little crowning piece here, just to give that trellis a bit of a hold, so making sure that's higher, and it's just a topper for that card, so it gives it a different scope on the top of it than we had previously. So already my base is done, isn't it? We're starting to get to the point where we're building. It's looking like I want it to be. Now let's take her and let's start just shaping her out a little bit. I'm not going to go too much. Now she has got a decoupage piece on the back, and I'm going to add more decoupage to it, but I am just going to give a little bit of fullness to her dress. So I'm not going to worry too much about the arm, because I'm going to decoupage the arm, and I'm not going to worry too much about the chest area either. It's actually the dress that I want to flow line. So I'm going to follow Nick's artwork. So the first thing that I'm going to do is just run around the edge of that dress, around that flow of fabric, and I'm following the work that Nick's put in. So those shade lines that show me where the fabric falls are the ones that I'm going to copy with my bull tool. I'm just going to run them down and then run them around this way, and that's going to allow that flow line to come through. You can see now there's a different shape. It looks a little bit like a mermaid at this point, but you can see that you've got that different shape line to her. Now I can pull that dress forward, and I can start to work with Nick's cut lines just by twisting. That's going to allow that fabric to flow further. So now we've 3D'd the lower half of her body. We'll repeat that process with decoupage at the top to give both that kind of expansion that we're looking for. In order to maintain that shape though, I am going to have to use some silicone gel glue, and I need that to sit quite high. I think the top of that has absolutely dried. Honestly, nothing works in the heat in Britain. Nothing works, Mr. House, in heat in Britain. I mean, I don't work in any season, but certainly. Oh, my pin flare. Right, let's fill that. I want it to be high. I want to fill those two folds of fabric. I'm not worried about the chest area. It's the fabric that I want to raise. So you'll see as I bring her skirt down, I'm following the flow line of the card, and I'm going to bring her to that side, and I'm going to let that pin flare do its job. Now, because we shaped it and because we used Nick's cut lines to twist it, she sits forward and she's got a lovely shadow line behind her. So you get that element that she's standing in front, she's looking, she's enjoying what she's doing. So it's a really beautiful sort of peaceful element. Now, from there, I want to bring in the decoupage element. So I've got her head, and I'm not going to shape it, I'm just going to raise it and just give that 3D patch. So going in here, Pop her head on. Certain things that you only say on craft shows. I'm just going to pop her head on, Taz. It's not your everyday conversation, is it? I'm going to pop her arm on. So now I'm starting to build up the idea of the 3D. Her dress is now in line with the fact that her face is further forward. We're starting to see the fullness of it. And so those 3D elements can come out to produce that. So really nice and easy. Now I want to talk to you about the beautiful, beautiful vintage blooms because I loves them, loves them, loves them. I want to use these as a corner element, not so much for decoupage, but actually as to build a corner so that I'm adding something. So what I'm going to do is shape them out and I'm going to cup them upwards, not downwards. I do like to cup things downwards if I'm posting, but I do like to see them flowing upwards because I like that lift. So I'm just going to go around those edges. With the ball tool, I'm going to start working towards the center in that spiral, and that's going to give me the lift. The cut lines are allowing that to happen. So I'm going to do that one. Next one. You can hear it cracking and crunching, those cut lines giving way and those fibers breaking in the paper, which is allowing us to manipulate, sculpt, and change the way it looks. The leaves I will give a simple fold, okay, and that's just to give it a little shape. Just using that score line, that cut line that Nick's put in there, okay, and that's just going to give it that shape. So bring her in and we're going to start to build these florals. So the first thing, pin flare. And I'm just going to tip it, okay? So I'm tipping it down to the 4 or down to the edge of the card because I'm going to overlap it. So tipping this one too, just that flow line from her dress coming through and making sure I've got it seated so they are both dipping in, if you like. I don't like my corner here, so I don't like edges showing there. So the way I get around that is to then add in my third. That fills it out, but it also gets rid of that, which I visually don't like. It doesn't please me. So I'm going to do the same thing here. And that one is just going to sit nestled between those, and suddenly I have a fullness, I have a value to what I'm doing, but I need to build a little bit of height, and I'm going to do that with a leaf, just one simply coming along. Tuck that in, and now I'm going to divide some colour here because the colour is a little bit rich for me, or the lack of colour maybe is a little rich. So I'm going to break it up with just a couple of leaves to give it of extra visual. Okay, so now that corner's created that bloom that's rising and you can see it coming into its own. Finally, we want her to be looking, she's looking at something, and of course she's looking at a hummingbird. So I'm going to take the little hummingbird's wing, pull that forward, and then just bend it slightly over my finger. Wet glue for this. The little hummingbird is just there, catching her eye in flight. Simple, clean and elegant. Very, very beautiful cards with Vintage Dreams. Just a pleasure to work with. Really, really pretty. Beautiful pieces, aren't they? It's lovely to see traditional crafting. There's a lot of modern stuff on the market these days that kind of fight to be the most modern. Traditional crafting, traditional card making is so valuable and will never go out of style. It will always be the classic, and this is what Carnation provides in just beautiful, beautiful detail. Vintage Dreams is available on the Carnation Crafts website, which is www.carnationcrafts.co.uk. You'll be able to find it under the number 200280. It has a show price of $69.99, free UK P&P. Thank you very much. And that has got a £60 discount today, and even more so if you also use your 10% discount. Don't forget, you'll get a $4.99 free gift as well. So everything all coming in just so it's all sort of available to you. Earlier on today at 10 o'clock, we did a show for you on USBs because Carnation are doing what is essentially a USB bonanza. Thank you very much to Carnation. It means that all of their USBs, other than the ones that are out for the last 3 months, all of their USBs are only $39.99 today, which is nuts. And they're going to let you use your 10% discount. That's a different way to get to those. If you just nip on the website and go to shop and then USBs, you'll see all of them. Now, a lot of them are running out of stock already because they're just selling so fast because they're on a stupid price. Every single USB that you see on there has got 3 collections on it. It's also got a mass of backing papers on it as well. There's Christmas ones, there's farmyard ones, there's ones with baby collections on them. You name it, every collection that Carnation has done previously, they're slowly all making their way onto USB, and most of them are already there. Have a look for your favorite collections and then go and find it in digital format and craft your little hearts out, because at that price you can't say no, really, can you? There's loads of backing papers on there. You've got everything. All of your artwork is actually on that USB as well. You can tune into the 10 o'clock show over on YouTube while you're there. Hit subscribe and also the notification button. That'll tell you when we're going live in case you want to see us again in the future. It just means everything is working. Now, before I get on to another demo, I'm just going to breathe for a minute. It's a lot of talking, I'm just saying. In order to use this, if you've never worked with Carnation before, and we're obviously offering you this collection, I did say earlier that we give you free artwork, and Carnation do all of their artwork in-house, and we give it to you for free. In order for you to be able to find that and use it, you need to go to the Carnation Crafts website. So you need to go to www.carnationcrafts.co.uk, and you need to just go to downloads and then free downloads. Once you get to free downloads, you are able to go and look at whatever you want to do. Now, you could put into their vintage dreams if you wanted to, or you can just search through the collection. So if you type in vintage dreams, it'll come to the top and you can download them. Now, one of the collections that we looked at on USB this morning has vintage dreams on it. I do just want to point out that the artwork is not the same for the USBs as it is for the dies, and that's because they have to be sized differently. Find your complete colorway, which you can just see there, and pop it into your basket. It's just at the top, and pop it into your basket and you can check that out for free. There is a full complete vignette download sitting there for 20 quid though. That's pretty tempting. And that's got all of the different colorways. But if you want the original one, it is completely free. Chuck it into your basket, check out, and get that printed out on some Pro Print if you can. That's going to give you the best results. Yes, Taz.
Can I just say, while we're on here, they can see the Vintage Dream Stepper card die set. So that's obviously our main card shape within the collection. And we have 9 other die sets within this price we're doing today. That makes that everything else is £35. If we break it down like that.
So, because if that's supposed to be 35, that means everything else is £25. Because it's £62, so £27 if you're doing the 10% discount. So if you use that, that takes it down to 28 pounds. Divide that by 9. Makes every other die £3.11. Tell me when you can get that many dies from Carnation for £3.11, because that's essentially what you're looking at today. This is what we meant when we came on and we were like, cannot believe they're doing this for this price. It's massive. So I'm so stoked for those of you who've got hold of it, because what a time to be shopping with Carnation. All right, we're going to have a look at another lady, and then we're going to do a more clean and simple paired back card as well. We should have time, I think, for 2 demos if I'm fast, Miss Taz. We'll do our best. I want to look at the hidden staircase card shape because I think it's beautiful. So the secret staircase, look at that. Beautiful, isn't it? Iconic of a church. It's got a really lovely, lovely feel to it. I love the archway. You're going to cut that twice, obviously, to create your card base. So take your bottom one, just give it a score line, about 3/4 of an inch. Chuck a bit of red liner. Sorry about this, just while the heat's releasing it. There we go. No. Honestly, adhesives and summer do not work well together, do they? You guys all know this at home. Ugh, Taz, I'm going to glue it with wet glue in a minute. It's going to get right on my nerves. Right, there you go. Once you've done that, fold it down and face it towards your body. Take your second one, shuffle, place, hold with your thumb and push. And that's your card base sorted. Thank you very much. And then we're going to come in with your elements. I've got a lovely 3mm height on this. We're going to raise it. Let's bring some shadows in. And because of that, I purposefully kept it in white cardstock, and I've used a 350 GSM. So I've got a really chunky, lovely feel below. Create your tabs and hold them, slip and slide until you get it into place. Once it's there, you can push and pull your tabs. That's going to give you your alignment so that you're set. Then we can start bringing in the extra layers. I'm working white on white. I want my shadow play to come through, and I also want to allow the colors that come with these vignettes to really pop. And when you work white on white, that often happens. So again, I'm slipping and sliding till I get to where I want to be. Once I've got it positioned, I can lay it down, I can push, and I can pull. And that, can I just show you very quickly how we create dimension with it before we start? This is where, like, how can I phrase this? Obviously, if you did that with any cardstock, it's going to give you dimension because we're using foam tape. What I mean when I'm talking about the way it's different with Carnation, if you look at this, when you've got that outline that comes around this edge, which Carnation didn't have to do. And that's the key point here. Carnation could have just done the same shape as the outside but smaller, but they detailed it. Now when you're working white on white will eat itself, okay? So you'll lose the definition unless you put some foam tape between it to give you the shadow play. Now when we add in the extra element here where you've got that detail line coming down, the lift on it is extraordinary, isn't it? That visual point. And you can put anything on there and you have made something beautiful. It's important, and I know I stress this a lot, and I'm probably very dull with it. I don't even mind being dull with it, because the truth of the matter is it matters, and it matters to me and it matters to you, and I know it does. So you get those elements. I'm going to use these swag, and this time we're going to come in from the bottom rather than the top, because I want to show you it working in both ways and already without me starting. And I think this is important. That, my friends, is a rose garden. You see how you change it up so quick, so fast, because it's one vignette, but it changes everything. Beautiful, absolutely stunning. Now you can, of course, decoupage all of this. I'm not going to do that today because we don't have enough time to do that, and if you want another demo. So I'll ask you to use your imaginations. And we're going to place that down. So I'm mirroring the point on my mat with the point of my vignette. And I'm just going to leave those free. Look at that. It's so pretty. It's so, so pretty. Now, I've got elements here, and we're going to talk about these stairs. So each one of these has got a cut line where those stairs are, so I can create my 3D staircase if I want to, just by simply mountain and valley folding, and that's going to create that 3D embellishment there. How clever is that already? Okay, no effort on my part. Don't need to worry about it. Now, if I want to keep that shape, though, I'm going to have to just be canny with it. So in order to do that, I'm just going to take a little bit of wet glue for my top staircase. And that's going to pin it down. And then for the ones below, I am going to need to work differently with it. So let me just make sure they're seated where they are. So what I need is for the elements at the bottom to stick down. And I'm going to do this now with my silicone gel glue on those steps. Once that dries, it'll dry solid, which means it won't bend. And I can bring my staircase in and I can allow it to seat. Look at that. Magic, right? Just magic. So clever. Just so clever and beautifully done. Now I've got my Victorian lady here and she's going to be seated on one of these steps, but because I have concertinaed those staircases in order to make her not look like she's, you know, sort of flat at the top and falling over, possibly after a tipple in the summer heat, we need to be able to make sure that we are shaping her just enough to make sure we can put some silicone gel glue behind her. Now I'm not going to shape her out particularly with a ball tool, but what I am going to do is take her stomach or her arm and I'm just going to tip that forward. And then I'm just going to use my finger on her thigh as it goes across and just pull that round so that you create a rotund piece. And I'm just going to fold her that way so she is already shaped. Then I'll use those cut lines in that fabric to create that swag. And I'm just gently manipulating that paper. I've got to tell you, it's easier to manipulate paper on a warm day like this than it is on any other, because paper responds to the heat of your hand. Now I'm going to need extra pin flare. So pin flare here and quite a lot of it. Okay, and then some pin flare here. I'm not too worried about too much height on that one, but certainly on her chest I need to raise her, otherwise she's going to look like she's tipping over. So I'm just going to seat her on that step and make sure, can you see how that pin flare is holding her chest up? And that's just going to pin it. It's pinning her body upwards, which creates that causation of shadow around her, which gives the depth of gravity, which makes it look real when you look at it. And that's the joy of crafting that way. Now, little putty tat, the little putty tat has got to come in and have his regal little self shaped out around his bottom and his chest and a little bit round his face. Then I'm going to take his body, pull that forward so that I've got those elements, and then again I'm going to put some silicone gel glue in there. Pin flare, if any of you are wondering what this is, it's called pin flare. You can again find that on Carnation's website. I know often some of you are brand new to all of this and haven't seen silicone gel glue. It's wonderful stuff. It dries after 24 hours like concrete, and it is one of the most valuable adhesions. It's so useful. So we're going to place that there. So now she's seated. The cat has distance. She has distance. The roses have faded to the background, but they're still there. There's still that summer line coming. It's still crossing through the back of the cat. And we've created a scene at the bottom, which is just very pretty. But I need to frame the top. Otherwise, it's going to look a little odd. So I'm going to bring into here these two elements. They're going to overlap. So I'm just going to make sure I've got them the right way around. And they're going to create essentially like a mustache shape, and you can have them either way depending on whether you want it to be wide or whether you want it to be folded down. It's entirely up to you. Choose it, play it, and find what's best. Then I'm going to take this little bit of wet glue, pin them down, shape it so you've got it where you want it to be. That looks about right to me. Perfect. And then I'm going to use a little bit more wet glue, and I'm only going to pin just around that top edge, and then I'll seat it in. I'm going to leave those free because I like the shadow play. Just make sure I've pinned it correctly. And then from there, my beautiful, beautiful little bird cage. So I've just cut one away. Little bit of shape. Small amount of adhesion, and pin that just to that top circle there, so it's just framed with the arms going around the outside, and you have something very sweet, very dimensional, and very simple to make. You can see the dimension, you can see the shadow as she's sitting. The bird cage gives you shadow. All of it's got movement, so you get the extra for free. Shadows are free, but they make such a difference. You've got all of the elements of the dimension coming through for that card. If she's seated too far forward, you can squish that pin flare just a little bit, just to make sure, but she sits beautifully forward there. Okay, easy, easy stuff, but very pretty. This is the Vintage Dreams collection, excuse me, from Carnation Crafts. That's 200280. You'll find it on their website, and it's $69.99 today, which is crazy prices. Free UK P&P. You've got a usual price of $129.99, but if you were to buy every single one of those elements separately, that'd be $181.99. And we don't want you to pay that today. We also want you to find your newsletter code for a 10% discount, taking you down to $62.99, Miss Towers, $62.99 for this whacking great big collection of 10 die sets. Don't forget to add in your perfect papers as well, and your pro print if you want to have a go with that. Just brings it all together. And it'll give you free P&P. I did not just wreck the things at my feet. You don't know. Right, let's bring this out. Have we got time for one more, Taz, if I talk real fast? If I speed craft, can I do one more? You do you. You do you. She never normally says that. She's been nice to me. It's my first day back. And I was nervous this morning. Right. Let's take a standard card base. So this is just a piece of card cut. Red liner tape is not loving the heat, is it? So this is a 5.5 by 8. Fold it back towards your body, shuffle, push, done. Look at that colour. That is summer. Add that with some white and you have got a summer towel, a beach towel in my head. Those of you who haven't crafted before, if you're using a dimensional foam, try and add in a center panel just to make sure that it doesn't sag in the middle, but you don't need to take the backing of it. You're just going to use the 2 outside pieces. It's just to prevent sag. I cannot see at the top, so I'm kind of guessing if I'm in the right place at this stage. So I'm going to push and pull. Then let's cool it. Look at that for a frame. Woof. Push and pull. Okay, so you've got this beautiful frame ready to go, and that colour pop, that little colour pop. If you want it to be more, obviously make this mat smaller. I like it just with that line. It's a really divine colour and it gives me everything that I need. Now we're going to go quite clean and simple with this one. I said this to you earlier that I just want to bring in something that's very, very simple really, because I think it's lovely for crafting. That hummingbird tree is beautiful. Really pretty, so I'm going to use that. Now if I want to put that on foam tape again, I'm going to get that shadow play, which is so beautiful, isn't it? But I can just lay it flat, and that's what I'll be doing with this, because I want that pop of white to show through even more. So it depends what you want to do and how you want to play with it. If you want the white to show through more, definitely lay it flat. If you want the shadow to be the more important part, then you need to raise it. It's up to you depending on what the outcome that you're looking for is. Now I'm going to raise this just a little bit so it's floating in the middle of the air. Obviously not something I normally recommend. You do need your grounding devices, and I'm going to bring a grounding device in with a corner element, again made from those florals. So that's going to make my life a little bit easier. But I need to raise the height of the tree, and because the roots of the tree won't be seen, I can raise it so it's floating. So essentially taking the tree roughly to the top of the card, not worrying about the floating in midair. The great thing about tree roots is it doesn't really matter, does it, if it's floating in midair, because they're automatically, we know visually they're disappearing into the ground. Can get away with a lot with those, I have to say. Now I'm going to be quick because we are obviously running out of time, but I just want to show you a different way of building in these floral corners. It's a little bit more full. I saved the last demo Taz that has got the most elements to it, just to make life more fun. Right, I'll be quick. We're just shaping these out. I love that cracking sound as the paper gives on those cut lines. It's incredibly satisfying. Ooh. Right, so I'm doing, you can see visually I'm doing, you know, a lot more florals here. Got my leaves, I'm just folding those in. And I've got a few of them. And I've got my little element here as well. Right, so now that I've got those pieces in place, I want to bring in a sense of grounding along the bottom of the card. And I'm going to use this little embellishment for it. Now, a lot of this won't be seen because obviously I'm going to be covering it with my florals, and I'm okay with that. I just want it to be there. I want to frame out the card. I don't mind that it's disappearing. I just want the elements to it. And sometimes we get sort of hooked up on if every single piece has to be seen. Not every single piece has to be seen in full. Tuck-ins are just as important as anything else. So I've got that. Now I can add in another, I don't know if I'm going to so much, but I could add in another one here to do it the extra framing, or I could do it at this side of the tree and just tuck it below those, which is what I think I will do, just to add some height. Now when I add that height, I automatically get a visual extra, okay? Because automatically I'm lining up, I've framed, I've got that rectangle point. Now I can get away with an awful lot more, because when we frame something, we don't have a crazy free-for-all on the card, and that helps visually. So I'm lining those two up, tucking that in, and just placing on. Right, now let's play florals. Florals to the max. Let's bring in the first piece, okay? Now you'll see that I'm building at this side and not at this side, despite this side having the most white space. And that's just because I like white space and I'm happy to do that. So I'm going to bring in this, and he's going to sit firm and proud, and he's going to be the tallest. Then I'm going to bring in smaller ones. So this is just a different way to utilize these. So they're going to be lower. And I'm going to extend the L this way, just by adding in an extra one there. Now I then get a visual problem because I've got too much gap here. So we bring in the tiny babies. We're just filling in that little gap. I don't want to cover the tree completely, but I do want the corner build. Okay, and again I want to separate that colour, but the first thing I'm going to do is build up my big bad boy. So lots and lots of silicone gel glue. Let's get this decoupage on. Let's build in that dimension, that fullness, that joy, that depth and passion that you're getting from that, which is really important. And then let's bring in some foliage to break that colour, and we're going to put in some taller elements, just those little tuck-ins that are so important in the game that we play, that is crafting. Okay, you can see how that build comes in now. One tiny little one, and I'm just going to bring this one in down here. You see how that fullness comes in and how pretty that is? Now, then I'm going to just very quickly, because we haven't got huge amounts of time, bring in some colour. Just by bringing in these little apples that are hanging on the summer tree. All seated in, just random placements to bring in that colour. And then we're going to bring in some of the little blossoms. Oh, that one stuck to my finger. Ew. Just seated on the leaves, best I can. You need to take a bit more care when you're doing this at home. Don't be quite as haphazard as I'm being. But just to bring in that pop of colour, that gentle, and it just reflects what's going on down below. Hold on, that won't help. By heck. There we go. Right, then, right, that one's not playing. Getting my mad up, Miss Towers. Right, we've got the little tabby here, so let's pull around his bottom. There. Just going to tuck in, because he's a pesky little menace, because he has seen Joan the hummingbird very busily flying above, and he's quite interested in Joan. So we're just going to plant that way. And again, simple. Hey on. Heck, lost a leaf, Miss Towns. You've got simple card making. Let me just steal some of that pin flare. There you go. That helps. That sentiment, obviously you've got space for a sentiment, sorry, at this side, where you could just put happy birthday, you could put happy Mother's Day, you could put, you know, anything with sympathy, you can put whatever, maybe take the cat out if you're doing with sympathy, but the point being is these cards are everyday cards for any occasion. This is not, you know, a set piece for any one, you know, Easter theme or something along that. It's any occasion. Vintage Dreams covers so many pieces. It is so versatile. That's what you're getting with this. You'll find it on the Carnation Crafts website, 200280. You have a show price today of $69.99. Free UK P&P. 10% discount if you use your newsletter code as well. It's incredible. Free artwork and a free gift of $4.99 to you as well. That will be coming to you in the post. It's been an awesome day. Thank you very much for having me back. Thank you very much for sitting with us for the shows. We've thoroughly enjoyed your company. I will be back on Hobby Maker tomorrow. I think I've got 2 shows tomorrow, so that's going to be a wonderful collection there as well. And then we are back next week. Yes, Taz?
Yes, so I'm back in here with Wheeler, we will be doing the Clean and Simple Plus range again.
Yes.
Christmas,
and that will be on Tuesday, and then that'll be back on Hobby Maker. There's loads. Listen, go to the Carnation Crafts website and hit the calendar button. It's got everything detailed for you there, where we're going to be, whether it's going to be a USB, whether it's going to be a die collection, whether it's going to be a Crafter's Select. Everything will be there for you. That's got all the times that you need us. One of the easiest ways is to either subscribe to the YouTube channel or to hit your follow button on the Carnation Crafts page on Facebook, and everything will be given to you on a plate. That way you'll always know when we're live, what's coming up, and what's happening with Carnation. Please, please, please stay hydrated today. It is so hot.